Mr. Grant, we need you to come with us.
What? What's going on?
It's about the lottery money you've been pulling from this counter.
For the better part of a year, San Angelo shoppers trusted Zkel Grant with their lottery tickets and their refunds. Every single one of them was wrong too. Before this footage ends, he loses everything he built behind that counter.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I just process returns for customers.
Every fake winning transaction tied to your register login for a year.
That's not, you got the wrong guy, man.
He would not be making that statement. Within 48 hours of this footage, prosecutors would have on their desks 13 months of secure database logs, CCTV pulls, and Texas lottery records, all assembled by a Walmart global investigator weeks earlier. $1 million, hundreds of fraudulent transactions, 2 teenagers he had personally trained to keep the scheme alive after he walked away. The man at the customer service counter, who handed back returns and processed scratch-off winners, had quietly been running one of the largest internal theft schemes in the chain's West Texas history, and he had built a succession plan. Quick question before we go further. How often do you really watch what an employee is doing when they are handling your money? Drop your honest answer in the comments. And if you are new here, hit subscribe. We bring you a new accountability case every single week. Zkel Grant was born in Lubbock, Texas, in the spring of 1996. His father worked maintenance for a freight company off Interstate 27. His mother answered phones at a regional insurance office for 19 years. Money was steady, but never abundant. The family moved to San Angelo when Zkel was 11, settling into a beige rental house near Bradford Elementary, 2 blocks from a Stripes gas station where his father bought a single pack of Texas lottery scratch-offs every Friday after his shift. That gas station was the first place Zkel learned what a lottery ticket looked like up close. He would stand on his toes at the counter and watch the cashier slide a winning $50 ticket through the validator, pull cash from the drawer, and count it out into his father's palm. The ritual felt ceremonial. His father would let him pick the next ticket from the roll, and Zkel would trace his finger along the perforations before tearing it free. He attended Lakeview High School on the north side of town. He was an unremarkable student who showed up consistently, kept his head down, and graduated in May of 2014. His yearbook page lists no clubs, no sports, no superlatives. Teachers later described him as polite and forgettable. One former English teacher told a reporter, "I had to look him up. I taught him for a full year, and I had to look him up." After graduation, he stocked shelves overnight at an H-E-B grocery on Sherwood Way for 14 months. He moved to a Sonic drive-in on Knickerbocker Road, then to a tire shop where he answered phones and ran the front desk. He earned $9.25 an hour at the tire shop. He saved enough to buy a used 2008 Nissan Altima with 142,000 miles on it. He lived in a small apartment off Glenna Street with a roommate who worked at the same tire shop. In April of 2019, he applied for a customer service position at the Walmart neighborhood market on Sherwood Way, less than 2 miles from the apartment. The store was a smaller format grocery location, busier than people expected, anchored by a single customer service counter that handled returns, money orders, MoneyGram transfers, and Texas lottery sales. The starting wage was $12.50 an hour. Within 90 days, he was a full-time associate. His early performance reviews were quiet, but positive. His supervisor wrote that he was dependable, soft-spoken, and picked up systems quickly. Another evaluation called him a steady presence at the desk who handled difficult customers without raising his voice. A customer wrote a thank you note to the store manager in October of 2020, praising him for spending 45 minutes helping an elderly woman locate a lost MoneyGram receipt. The note was framed and hung in the break room. He was promoted to lead customer service associate in February of 2021. The position paid $14.75 an hour. It came with a master register login that could approve overrides, void transactions, and reverse lottery payouts. 2 managers had to sign off on the credentials. Both signatures were collected on a single afternoon. He thanked them and went back to his shift. That trust was about to be tested. The customer service counter at a Walmart neighborhood market is one of the most trusted positions in modern retail. A single associate stands at a single register, handling thousands of dollars in cash, money orders, MoneyGram wires, gift card activations, refunds without receipts, and lottery transactions across two separate platforms. The Walmart point-of-sale system runs one terminal. The Texas Lottery terminal sits beside it. Both systems require associate logins. Neither system talks to the other in real time. Texas Lottery rules require every winning ticket above a small threshold to be scanned into the lottery terminal before the retailer pays the customer. The terminal validates the ticket, records the win, and prints a confirmation slip. The retailer then opens its own register, rings the payout as a separate transaction, removes cash, and hands it to the customer. Two systems, two records, one associate. The Walmart neighborhood market on Sherwood Way processes between 400 and 600 lottery transactions on a typical day. Scratch-offs, Powerball entries, Lotto Texas tickets, Mega Millions, Pick 3, all or nothing. Most of those transactions are small, a $2 ticket, a $5 payout. The store's annual lottery volume regularly clears $2.5 million. Audits at the store level were monthly. Cash drawers were counted at every shift change by the same associate who had worked the shift. Lottery payouts were reconciled against terminal records once a week by an assistant manager who spent roughly 20 minutes on the task. The Walmart secure database that logged every register entry was searchable by corporate investigators only, not by store managers, not by district managers, not by anyone who walked the floor every day. There was one camera mounted above the customer service counter. It captured the associate's hands and the customer's face. It did not capture the screen. It did not capture what was being keyed into the lottery terminal. It did not capture which buttons were pressed on the register. Anyone who understood that gap could exploit it. Most associates never noticed the gap existed. Zkel Grant noticed. The first confirmed fraudulent transaction in the secure database query took place on Tuesday, March 14, 2023, at 2:47 in the afternoon. A customer brought a Lotto Texas scratch-off to the counter showing a winning value of $40. Grant scanned the ticket into the Texas Lottery terminal, confirmed the win, opened his Walmart register, and keyed the payout in for $140. He counted $40 into the customer's hand, walked her to the door, returned to the counter, and slid the additional $100 into the front pocket of his vest. The fraud was almost invisible. The Texas Lottery record showed a $40 win. The Walmart register record showed a $140 payout. The two systems would never compare notes unless someone deliberately pulled both reports and lined them up. The method evolved quickly. Within 3 months, he was running 4 distinct variations. The first method inflated the payout. A customer wins $50. He pays them $50 and rings the register for $250. The $200 gap goes into his pocket at shift's end. The second method split the ticket. A customer wins $100. He pays the customer in cash, then keeps the validated ticket instead of marking it as redeemed. He later activates a Walmart prepaid debit card in his own name and loads the ticket value onto the card through a second fraudulent payout, doubling the take. The third method created ghost wins. He scans a losing scratch-off into the terminal, registers it as a small win on the Walmart side only, and pays himself out of the drawer. Because the lottery terminal never recorded a win, there was no Texas Lottery record to reconcile against. The money simply disappeared. The fourth method was the keep. A customer presents a winning ticket but does not insist on watching the validation. Grant pays the customer in cash from the drawer, never scans the ticket into the terminal, and pockets the validated ticket itself. He later cashes the ticket at a different Walmart in another county. The escalation followed a pattern. In March of 2023, the secure database showed approximately $12,000 in suspicious payouts tied to his login. By August, it was $41,000 a month. By December, he was clearing $70,000 a month, working 4 days a week, never the same shift twice in a row. He bought a 2022 Dodge Challenger SRT in matte black on a Sunday afternoon in January 2024, paying $26,000 in a cashier's check and financing the rest. He paid cash for a 42-inch chain at a jewelry store on West Beauregard Avenue. He moved out of the Glenna Street apartment and into a 2-bedroom rental near Goodfellow Air Force Base. His co-workers noticed the car. They noticed the chain. They noticed the new sneakers. They did not say anything to management. He was friendly, he covered shifts when asked, and he had been there for almost 5 years. No one noticed. No one checked. By February of 2024, he had brought in 2 new hires under his wing. Carmelo Daniel Amigleo was 18 years old, fresh out of Central High School, working his first real job. Ryan Munoz was 18, a friend of Amigleo's from the same neighborhood, hired 3 weeks later. Grant trained both of them at the customer service counter. Within 6 weeks, he was showing them how to inflate a payout. Within 2 months, they were doing it on their own shifts. He told them it was a tradition. He told them everyone at the store had a hustle. He told them the cameras did not see the screen. On Monday, April 29, 2024, Zkel Grant submitted a 2-week notice to the store manager. He cited other job opportunities and asked for a positive reference. The store manager wrote one. Grant worked his final shift on May 11th, returned his vest and his name tag, and walked out of the Sherwood Way Walmart neighborhood market for the last time. He had been employed there for 5 years and 1 month. He left without a single disciplinary incident on his record. He did not leave for another job. He had no other job. He had decided the heat was building, and the timing was right to walk away clean. Amigleo and Munoz would keep the operation running, and he would collect a cut from each of them in cash on Friday nights at a Whataburger parking lot off Knickerbocker Road. The plan worked for exactly 6 weeks. In late June of 2024, a corporate audit at the Texas Lottery Commission flagged a statistical anomaly at the Sherwood Way Walmart neighborhood market. The store's reported lottery payouts had been outpacing its reported lottery wins by a margin no other Texas lottery retailer in the region was showing. The variance had been growing for over a year. The flag was forwarded to Walmart Global Investigations on July 1st. Walmart Global Investigator Clint Lee was assigned the file. He had spent 11 years investigating internal theft for the company and had worked cases in 23 states. He pulled the secure database query for every lottery-related register transaction at the Sherwood Way store going back 18 months. He pulled the Texas Lottery Terminal records for the same period. He asked the loss prevention team for every available CCTV file from the customer service counter dating back to January 2023. It took him 9 days to map the pattern. The fraudulent transactions were not random. 94% of them were tied to a single associate login. The login belonged to Zkel Grant, an associate who no longer worked at the store. A smaller cluster, beginning in March of 2024, was tied to 2 newer logins belonging to Amigleo and Munoz. Every single one of those transactions had been preceded by a shift Grant had worked alongside them. On July 11, 2024, Clint Lee handed his report to the San Angelo Police Department. Detective Kara Whitmore of the Financial Crimes Unit opened a case file the same afternoon. Detective Whitmore interviewed Carmelo Daniel Amigleo on the morning of July 18, 2024, at his parents' house on the east side of San Angelo. He was 18 years old. He had been working at Walmart for 5 months. He cried for most of the interview. His statement was direct. He told the detective he had been taught the lottery fraud scheme by Zkel Grant. He said Grant had walked him through every method during his second week at the store, demonstrating each variation on a closed register after the store manager left for the night. He said he had watched Grant on several occasions take money from the register after completing fraudulent lottery transactions and slip it into his vest pocket. He said Grant had told him every customer service associate in the store knew about it, which Amigleo later realized was not true. He said he had personally pocketed approximately $11,000 over 4 months and had spent most of it on a used Honda Civic, sneakers, and a PlayStation 5. Ryan Munoz was interviewed 2 hours later. His statement matched Amigleo's almost word for word. He named Grant as the architect. He named the parking lot meetings. He named the cuts. The smoking gun was already on Detective Whitmore's desk, The Walmart Secure Database Query, exported and printed across 147 pages, listed every fake winning transaction the store had processed across the previous 13 months. Every single fraudulent entry was tagged with the associate login that processed it. Every cash drop was tied to a shift. Every shift was tied to a name. Grant's login appeared on 984 fraudulent transactions, totaling $976,000 in stolen funds. Amigleo and Munoz's logins together accounted for an additional $31,000. The total approached $1 million. CCTV pulls confirmed it. Investigators watched Grant pocket cash on camera over 400 separate times. They watched him walk to the back of the store, slip the money into his locker, and return to the counter as if nothing had happened. They watched him train Amigleo. They watched him train Munoz. They watched him pat Amigleo on the back the first time the 18-year-old completed the inflated payout method on his own. The financial side was airtight. The bank records subpoenaed from Grant's account at a regional credit union showed cash deposits totaling $132,000 across the previous 14 months. The Walmart prepaid debit card registered in his name showed 41 separate loads tied to fraudulent register entries. Amigleo and Munoz were arrested on July 22, 2024. Detective Whitmore drove out to Grant's apartment near Goodfellow on the morning of August 2nd. Pause for a second. Would you have spotted any of this if you were standing on the customer side of that counter? Tell me honestly in the comments. And if you have not subscribed yet, this is the kind of case we cover every week. Do not miss the next one. Grant answered the door in gray sweatpants and a plain white t-shirt. He was holding a glass of orange juice. The Dodge Challenger was parked behind the detective's unmarked sedan in the driveway. It was 9:14 in the morning. Zkel Grant? Yeah, what's going on? I'm Detective Whitmore with San Angelo Police. This is Detective Ramos. We need to talk to you about your time at the Walmart on Sherwood Way. Grant set the glass down on the small table beside the door. His shoulders dropped slightly. He did not look surprised. I haven't worked there in months. We know, that's part of what we want to talk about. I left to pursue other opportunities. There's nothing to talk about. We've spoken with Carmelo Amigleo and Ryan Munoz. They've made statements. We've also reviewed approximately 14 months of secure database transaction logs, CCTV footage, and Texas lottery records. We have a lot to talk about. He stared at her for a long moment. The orange juice sat untouched. The glass had left a wet ring on the table. I don't know what they told you. They told us everything. They're kids. They're going to say whatever you want them to say. They told us about the parking lot at Whataburger. They told us about the cuts on Friday nights. They told us about the shift you worked on March 14th of last year, when you taught Carmelo how to ring an inflated payout on a closed register. They told us things they couldn't have known unless someone showed them. He shifted his weight. His jaw moved as if he was about to speak, then stopped. You don't understand the position I was in. Then explain it to me at the station. I want a lawyer. He did not say another word. He stepped into a pair of sandals, locked the apartment door behind him, and walked to the cruiser without looking at the Challenger. Zkel Grant was indicted by a Tom Green County grand jury on August 14th, 2024. The indictment listed 9 counts of theft of property aggregated, 1 count of engaging in organized criminal activity, 3 counts of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information, and 2 counts of money laundering. The aggregated theft count carried a value of $976,000. Under Texas Penal Code, Section 31-03E, 7, theft of property valued at $300,000 or more is a first-degree felony, carrying a sentence of 5 to 99 years in state prison. He hired a defense attorney named Marcus Pulliam, a former assistant district attorney who had moved into private practice in 2018. Pulliam filed motions to suppress the secure database query, arguing that Walmart's internal investigation had operated as an extension of law enforcement and that the data should have been collected under a warrant. The judge denied the motion in October. Pulliam filed a second motion to sever Grant's case from Amigleo and Munoz. That motion was also denied. The trial began on March 3, 2025, in the 51st District Court of Tom Green County. The state called 19 witnesses across 6 days. Clint Lee walked the jury through the secure database printout, page by page, transaction by transaction. The Texas Lottery Commission auditor testified to the statistical anomaly that opened the file. Amigleo took the stand on day 4 and repeated his statement under oath, his hands shaking visibly as he identified Grant at the defense table. 2 former co-workers testified to seeing Grant pocket cash. The store manager testified to the framed thank you note in the break room and to writing the positive reference letter. The jury deliberated for 4 hours and 12 minutes, guilty on all 15 counts. At sentencing on April 18, 2025, the store manager who had written the reference letter delivered a victim impact statement on behalf of the store. I trusted you. I wrote a letter saying I trusted you, and you used my signature to walk into your next chapter. You stole from a company that paid you. You stole from customers who waited in your line. You taught children to do the same thing. The worst part is that you would have kept teaching them if no one had ever looked. Judge Eleanor Vance addressed Grant directly before announcing the sentence. You did not steal because you were desperate. You stole because you understood the gap between 2 systems, and you decided that gap was yours to keep. You then recruited 2 teenagers and handed them the same gap. They will carry felony convictions for the rest of their lives because of you. That is not a mistake. That is a deliberate choice you made every shift for over a year. Grant was sentenced to 32 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, with no possibility of parole until he had served 16. He was ordered to pay $976,000 in restitution. He is currently held at the John B. Connolly Unit in Karnes County, a maximum security facility approximately 190 miles southeast of San Angelo. His earliest possible release date is in 2041. Carmelo Daniel Amigleo and Ryan Munoz each received 8 years of probation and were ordered to pay restitution jointly. The customer service counter at the Walmart neighborhood market on Sherwood Way still operates. The cameras have been repositioned to capture the screens. The lottery terminal logs are now reconciled against register receipts at the end of every shift. The store hired a new lead customer service associate in June of 2024. This case was quiet. The next case on the right-hand side is anything but. Click it now.